In this video we will compare the iPhone 13 Pro that we are using to record this video right now against the trusty old Canon 1DX Mark II. We're going to compare the different modes. We're going to use ProRes, we're going to use the cinematic mode and also the 10-bit Dolby Vision HDR. We're going to test the different lenses, so keep watching and let's find out if you can tell which of the shots are shot with this one and which one are shot with the iPhone. Hey, what's up guys, Julian from smartphonefilmmakingpro.com here, the ultimate online course about smartphone filmmaking. And yesterday I was out in the fields and I was again testing the all-new iPhone 13 Pro, and this time I thought I have to compare it against my proper camera that I'm using for my work, which is the Canon 1DX Mark II. And I just wanted to test, several different occasions, and I wanted to see if you guys through YouTube can tell which of the shots is shot on which camera. So we have several different shots here. We have one with the ultra wide angle lens when we were walking, then we have one with the 1x lens without the cinematic modes, then we have one with the cinematic mode and the 1x lens, and then also with 3x lens and also with the cinematic mode. And I always try to somewhat make the same shot with my Canon 1DX Mark II as well. And now we're gonna scroll through the different shots. I will always play you the different shots and you can decide for yourself, which one is which, and then we will actually look at it on the screen here and I'll talk a little bit about it. So I would say let's start with the first two clips. Okay guys, so let me know what do you think, what was shot A and what was shot B. So I have both shots right here in the editor, and shot A was actually shot with the iPhone 13 Pro and the Dolby Vision HDR, and yeah, basically I was using this setup that you can see right here. And the second shot was shot with the 1DX Mark II and the 14mm lens. So the first thing that you can notice here right away is that, the iPhone is of course way smoother compared to my Canon 1DX Mark II. The reason for that is, it was a pretty windy day and I was just using the glide cam with a 14mm lens without any, electronical stabilization. And here with the iPhone I had a digital stabilization of the iPhone, I had the optical stabilization of the iPhone, and of course I also had the gimbal, so this is of course looking, like I was shooting it on rails. This one here is not that smooth, but that's also not really the point of this test. Something that stood out to me really much is the overall dynamic range. If you take a look here at the clouds and the sky in general, you can pretty clearly see, all the different details. And if you look right here, this is basically, there is no information at all. This is all just a mess right here. Also, if you take a look at him here, I could try to bump up the shadows even more, but then we would lose even more details right here. So overall, what you can see right here is the Dolby Vision, the high dynamic range really works. The amount of information that you have in the image is just, absolutely amazing. One thing that you do notice, if you take a look here on the sides, for example, in the grass, there is basically no information left at all. And if you take a look here on the 1DX, you can still see some information on this part of the image. So it always depends on what things you're looking for. But in my opinion, and when you're looking at it just at a first glance, I do even feel like that the iPhone footage in this scenario is looking better than the one from the Canon 1DX Mark II. But let me know what you guys think. Write it down in the comments which of the two shots you think is looking better and why. Next up, I have three different shots for you. One of it is again shot with the Canon 1DX Mark II and a 24-7mm lens. The other one was shot with the iPhone 13 Pro, just handheld with the 1x lens. And the third shot was also shot using this setup, but this time I was using Filmmaking Pro, and I was also using the new ProRes feature that Filmmaking Pro offers. So I'll now play you all three clips and you can decide for yourself which is which. Alright, so have you picked your guess? Because now I will spoiler it, and the first clip that you are seeing here in this case was shot on the Canon 1DX Mark II. This was at about, 30-40 millimeter on the lens with an aperture of f2.8. And yeah, I feel like this is a very solid image. There is not too much, blurry background going on because I was just pretty far away and not zoomed in that close. And also the aperture of f2.8, did not deliver too much shallow depth of field. But overall, I feel like this is a really solid image. Something that you do notice, especially if you compare it to the next shot, is the details that you're getting in the skies. We had basically the same thing here in the first clip, but I think in this case it's even way more noticeable. Also, the framing is a little off, I know, but the amount of details that you have here in the sky is just absolutely amazing. And here on the 1DX, there is basically no information at all. Here, the second clip that you're seeing is shot, with the standard camera app in Dolby Vision HDR. And if we look at the third shot, this is shot in ProRes 422 HQ using Filmic Pro. And like I said, this one has way more information in the sky compared to the first shot. And if we take a look at the third shot that is shot in ProRes, here you have the most amount of information in the sky. The amount of dynamic range that you have right here is just absolutely amazing. Personally, I feel like that there is not too much difference between those two shots. I could also grade this a little better to match them even better. But there is more color information in the ProRes image, that is for sure. But I think there is not a lot of difference between those two images. Something, however, that is noticeable on the iPhone footage is the lens flares that you're having here. You have such a tiny lens, and sometimes when there is sun coming from the side and so on, you happen to have those weird, lens flares that are not looking too good. But yeah, that's just a thing. You could, of course, avoid this by using proper gear. But for this test, I was just using the phone as it is without any add-ons and so on. So let me know what you guys think about those three shots and which of those three was your favorite. And before we're coming to the cinematic mode, I would like to talk very briefly about Smartphone Filmmaking Pro. We are the ultimate online course about smartphone filmmaking, teaching you guys how to shoot professional videos with your smartphone. As of recording of this video, we have over 110 videos inside the course and well over 10 hours of super high valuable content. In case you're interested, in case you want to bump up your smartphone video quality, just click the first link below that like button to watch our totally free webinar. So sign up now, it's totally for free, and I'll see you there. But now, let's go to the cinematic mode. The next two shots that I'm gonna show you is shot, one of them is shot with a 1DX Mark II and 70mm at an aperture of f2.8, and the second shot is shot using the cinematic mode, and I was also using the 3x lens. So I will now play you both clips. I will not tell you which is which, and you decide for yourself which one you like better and where are the differences. So have fun. Alright, so have you picked your guess? And I think this one is pretty noticeable. The first shot was shot with the iPhone 13 Pro and the second shot was shot with the Canon 1DX Mark II. Overall, when I was comparing those two shots in my editor, I was actually really blown away on how similar the bokeh is looking on those two shots. Take a look here at the blurry parts of the image. This is the iPhone shot and this is the shot on the 1DX, and I feel like, they are looking very, very similar. Something that is noticeable here, especially if we're zooming in a little closer, here at the edges, since this is all AI based and there is no true depth of field, you can see some imperfections at the edges. But overall, if you're just watching this clip back and if you're also focused on what he's saying, I feel like this is an absolutely usable image and you could get away with this without any issues at all. Something that is also again very noticeable right here is the dynamic range. Take a look here at the left side of his face where the sun is shining at. Here you still have some information, and if we take a look here at the 1DX, you can see that those part of the face, they are just completely blown out and there is no detail at all. I personally still feel like this has a little more natural image overall. but like I said, you could use this as it is, and 99% of all people would think like you were still using a big professional camera. So you know, having this in your toolkit is just really, really cool. And the last two shots that I have for you are shot at 50mm on the Canon 1DX and with a 1x lens on the iPhone 13 Pro. And here again, I was using the cinematic mode. So have you picked your guess? And the first clip that I showed you right here was shot with the iPhone 13 Pro in cinematic mode, and the second clip was shot on the 1DX. And I feel like this is also looking extremely good, and you know, since we're not that close to his face, the imperfections of the edges here are even less noticeable, and I feel like you could get away with an image like this, you know, for basically everything. Something that made it noticeable again here are the lens flares that you can see right here. You don't have these kind of lens flares using a proper camera, but overall, you know, the image is looking really identical. The framing was again a little off. Here in the sky, again, you have no information at all. Also here on the face, you know, this area is just completely blown out. And here again on the iPhone, there is still information. But overall, you know, having the ability to create shots that are looking like this without any add-ons. You don't need add-on lenses, you don't need a stabilizer. All of these shots, except for the first one, were just shot handheld. And like I said throughout of this video, with most of these shots, you can get away with them without anyone noticing that you are actually using a smartphone for this. For me personally, I'm super excited about this, especially considering that this is just version 1 and things are only gonna get better from here. But yeah, overall, let me know what you guys think about the footage, about the video quality in general. Did you get your guesses right? How many of them were right and how many were wrong? At the end of this video, I just wanted to show you something that is really cool. This weekend I was testing the ProRes of the iPhone 13 Pro, and I also attached an anamorphic lens to it, and I'll now play you the clip to end this video. But yeah, what you will see right here is, like I said, shot in ProRes in 422 HQ, and I was using the anamorphic lens from SVS. In case you're interested in that, I also have it linked down below. And yeah, that's basically it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked it. In case you guys have any further questions, make sure to let me know, and make sure to watch the webinar, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. What you can see right now is shot with the iPhone 13 Pro and Filmic Pro in ProRes. There are a lot of pros, and we're smartphone filmmaking pro, and we're using the SVS anamorphic lens. It's probably also pro.